Sports.com, as always, presented by Tab Bank. Alex Napoles here with you as we get ready to kick off the 6A semifinals here at Zions Bank Stadium. Day 2 of semifinal action here at Zions Bank. And it is the Lone Peak Knights as they get ready to take on the Bingham Miners. It'll be the Lone Peak Knights in their black. They'll be going to the right of your screen here in the first half. And it is the Bingham Miners in their traveling white, and they'll be going to the left. Here to start things in the first half. Moments away from kickoff as the 6A semifinals get ready to get underway. Final preparations as we'll have a change here. It was originally going to be Lone Peak to get us kicked off. Now it's Bingham as we are underway here at Zions Bank. Bingham will start us off in possession as that ball is played out wide to Kim. Margits tries to play it in centrally, and the ball now back won by the Lone Peak Knights. Quickly poked away and won back. It's Haycock in possession. Now Lone Peak on the attack. Ball played over the top. And that'll just throw safely into the hands of Riley Wicker, the goalkeeper for the Bingham Miners. Ball poked up by La Rosa. Booted away by Lone Peak. A header there from Gunnell. Ball played in centrally by La Rosa. One back by Seth Larkin. Larkin will play back to Lovelady. Lovelady centrally to Shin, and ball back with the Lone Peak Knights. Quentin Bailey plays it across. Here's Yagi. Zabriskie. Goes back to Quentin Bailey. Bailey set on the near sideline for Lovelady. Lovelady back centrally to Quentin Bailey. Across to Yagi. That ball giving chase on the far sideline is Ryan Kim. Takes a deflection, stays inbounds, and now Bingham in possession. Here with Isaac Morris. Margits gets it back to Morris. Morris plays it across to Tyler Smith. Smith tries to play one back into Morris. Quentin Bailey comes across, boots it away, and gets it out of bounds. A throw-in coming up here to the far sideline for the Bingham Miners. Gunnell gets it in to Morris. Morris brings it down, plays it centrally to Haycock. Haycock trying to play it up to Will Harris. And that ball will be won back by the Lone Peak Knights over on that far sideline. Now, up the sideline, giving chase here is Stevenson. And Stevenson can't keep it in bounds. It goes out of bounds and out. Another throw-in coming up, this time for the Bingham Miners over on that far sideline. Ryan Kim to throw it in for the designated visitors. That ball in play and goes out of bounds, deflected off of a Lone Peak Knight. Another throw-in here for Bingham. Ryan Kim plays it in. Haycock in the middle of the park for the Bingham Miners. Brings it down, out wide. Now back into Kim. One back by Lone Peak. Stevenson plays it centrally. That ball goes back to Yagi. Yagi over the top. Larkin with the header. Trying to get it out wide to Lovelady. Brings it down instead. Cuts inside. Back out towards the wing. Tyler Smith defending. Ball played in centrally to Cubillas. Cubillas trying to get it out wide to Stevenson. Instead, one back by the Bingham Miners. This is Kim. Over on that far sideline here with the Bingham Miners on the attack. Takes a heavy deflection off of a Lone Peak Knight who's down after the play. A whistle and a foul called, and we'll have a stoppage in play here with 36:25 left to go. Thomas Lucas down for the Knights. Thomas Lucas here, pointing to the sideline, calling for a substitution. Took a heavy deflection, heavy clearance to the gut. Subbing in will be number 30, Rafael Morales Soto. As Thomas Lucas gingerly making his way over to the near sideline. Rafa Morales Soto into the game, and we resume action off the Lone Peak free kick. Stevenson will play it across to Quinton Bailey. Bailey with time and space here for Lone Peak. Plays it up, looking for J.J. Cubillas, instead cleared away. Yagi with the header. Larkin tries to bring it down. Here's Zabriskie. One back by Larkin. Larkin here with possession. Gets it out wide to Lovelady. Captain for the Knights, Lovelady, up the sideline. Trying to get past Gunnell. Into the box, the cross comes in. Morris is there and clears it away for Bingham. Ball back into the box and again cleared away by Isaac Morris. Zabriskie trying to bring it in for the Knights. Brought down by Zach Campbell. Campbell goes centrally and cleared away by Bingham. Quinton Bailey in the center circle. Plays it out to the near sideline for Lovelady. Lovelady centrally towards Yagi. Cubillas trying to get it out wide in the direction of Campbell. Instead, a heavy touch. It goes out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up for Bingham over on the far sideline. Ball back in play as Harris tries to track it down. Out of bounds once more. This time a Lone Peak throw-in over on the far sideline. Campbell to throw it in for the Knights. Cubillas there with the header. As Shin lets it bounce. Goes out wide now to Lovelady. Lovelady with time and space on the wing. Goes centrally. Plays it to Cubillas. Cubillas looking for options again. Tries to play it through to Campbell. Intercepted and won back by Bingham. As the Miners quickly trying to go the other way. Here's Tyler Smith. Goes to ground and the whistle. And a foul called. Bingham free kick coming up. And an opportunity to play a ball into the box. Off the free kick here for Bingham. With 33:57 left to play. Smith to play it in. Headed away, now cleared away by Seth Larkin. Isaac Morris is there with the header, plays it back in, looking for Margits. As Preston Margits brings it down. One back by the Knights. This is Stevenson. Gets it out wide to Campbell, back to Patrick Stevenson. Centrally to Zabriskie. Plays it across to Bailey. Bailey. Centrally to Shin. One back by Smith, and now here come the Bingham Miners. Quickly one back, momentarily by the Knights. Ball back to Briggs Smith, cleared away. As Ryan Kim tries to play it up the sideline. Instead, it'll go out of bounds and out for a throw-in over on the far sideline, the designated home side in Lone Peak with a throw. Coming across is Mason Haycock, gets a touch on the ball, it goes out of bounds. Lone Peak tries to play it in quickly, ball out of bounds again. Throw-in for the Knights over on the far sideline. Brought down by Shin. Now Shin. Here's Larkin. Or excuse me, that's Cubillas. Cubillas into the box. Cubillas looking for options. Tried to support himself. Instead, one back by Bingham. And now ball quickly going down the other way as Will Harris brought down. And the foul called. Free kick coming up here for Bingham as Isaac Morris will take the free kick here for Bingham. Inside the center circle, plays it across to Smith. Briggs Smith goes out wide to Knox. Knox centrally to Margits. Margits up the sideline. Margits crosses it into the box. Harris flicks it through with the header. Bailey is there to clear it away. And booted away by Campbell. Margits tries to play it back out wide to Kim. Can't connect as it'll roll out of bounds and out. Another throw-in coming up, this time for Lone Peak over on the far sideline. Another throw-in coming up for the Knights. Ball played in centrally, intercepted by Tyler Smith. Goes back to Isaac Morris, plays it across to Briggs Smith. Takes a deflection, one back by Shin and the Knights. Larkin brings it in. Larkin takes a touch. Larkin looking for options. Gubias, back to Larkin. Larkin tries to take a shot, deflected. And one back by Bingham. Ball out wide to Sam Knox. And the ball will go out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up over on that far sideline for Bingham. Ryan Kim to throw it in. Substitution coming up here for Lone Peak as Thomas Lucas gets ready to check back in. Coming off will be number 30, Rafa Morales Soto.
Returning for Lone Peak, number 8, Thomas Lucas.
Thomas Lucas back into the game for the Knights. Bingham here winning possession with Will Harris. Yagi will clear it away. This is Stevenson. Centrally to Zabriskie. Zabriskie now with time and space. Zabriskie looking for options. Will go out to the near sideline for Lovelady. Lovelady back centrally to Quentin Bailey. Bailey centrally to Kubias. Kubias inside the center circle goes down. The whistle and a foul called. A free kick coming up here for the Lone Peak Knights. Tried to take it quickly, but the ball will be brought back. Bailey to take. Short to Stevenson, who plays it back to Bailey. Bailey up the sideline to Larkin. Larkin back centrally to Stevenson. Now here's the captain, Lovelady. Lovelady plays it to Patrick Stevenson. Centrally to Zabriskie. Zabriskie to Thomas. Thomas Lucas plays it to Stevenson. Now Lucas. To Larkin. Larkin tries to play a through ball into Kubias, who goes down. Nothing called. Riley Wicker now in the box. Here with possession for the Bingham Miners. Both teams here just getting a feel for each other in the early goings of this one. 28-19 left to go. Still tied up at 0-0 between the number 13 in the RPI, the Bingham Miners, and, of course, the number 1 in the Lone Peak Knights. Ball played over the top. Kubias brings it in. Kubias tries to get around Morris. Does. Kubias plays it out wide to Larkin. Larkin here with an opportunity as he takes it up the sideline. Larkin cuts back. Looking for support, crosses it into the box, goes back post. Campbell plays it in. And Riley Wicker off his line collects, and a dangerous opportunity here for the Lone Peak Knights. Ends in a ball played into Riley Wicker. And now Bingham trying to go down the other way with Knox. Knox plays it across to La Rosa. La Rosa with a heavy touch, able to bring it in. La Rosa trying to get it back up towards the sideline to Harris. Harris giving chase, defended by Yagi. And that ball ends at Quentin Bailey and cleared away by Lone Peak. This is Margits in the middle of the park for Bingham. Now Harris plays it into Haycock. Haycock into the box. Bailey is there. Takes a touch. And now Lucas trying to clear it away. For a second there, it looked like the Bingham Miners were going to have a good chance inside the box, but a phenomenal defensive effort by Lone Peak. Clears the ball away. Now the Knights trying to hit onto the attack. Here's Lovelady. Plays it centrally to Larkin. Larkin takes a touch. Heavy one is Smith. Take it past Stevenson. Now to the far sideline. Smith clears it away. Lucas is there with the interception. Ball poked in to Larkin. Larkin trying to get around Smith. Morris comes across too. Larkin with the shot. And then it'll go safely into the hands of Riley Wicker for Bingham. Gets it out quick. La Rosa trying to bring it down. Shin wins it back. Zabriskie plays it to Lovelady. Lovelady back centrally to Zabriskie. Now poke through to Kubias. Settles it for Zabriskie. Ball out wide to Lucas. Or excuse me, that was Campbell. Now Kubias. Kubias taking a shot from distance. And that one will go far to the post. Out of bounds and out for the goal kick. Substitutions coming up here for the Bingham Miners. Checking out will be number 21, Will Harris. And checking into the game will be number 32, Mason Simmons. Riley Wicker to boot it away.
Number 32, Mason Simmons.
For the Bingham Miners, led by first-year head coach Chad Pearson, coming to this one at 9-7 overall in the season. Finished 6-6 in Region 2 play. They are the fourth team in that region. Of course, the number 13 in the RPI with 24 goals scored on the season, 20 goals against. The Cinderella story, the underdogs here in 6A, the number 13 seed, making it to the state semifinals. Mixed results, but have gotten hot at the right time. Took down the number 4 Harriman 2-1 in the second round, and then beat number 5 Davis 2-0 in the last game in quarterfinal play to set themselves up here in a semifinal matchup as that ball is floated into Smith. And now Bailey clears it away for Lone Peak. One back by Haycock, takes a deflection off of the Bingham midfielder, and that ball goes out of bounds. Ball back in play here with Lone Peak. Kubias takes a touch, brings it in. Haycock wins it back for the Bingham Miners. Ball back to Smith. Smith with a heavy touch, pressured by Kubias, and has to just clear it away. Ball will go out of bounds and out. A throw in for Lone Peak over on the far sideline. For the Lone Peak Knights, also led by a first-year head coach in Ben Nilsson. 17-2 overall in the season, 8-2 in Region 3 play. They are the region champions, first in region play, and of course the number 1 in the RPI. 45 goals scored on the season, 18 goals against. A win against Dixie 4-1, wins against Wasatch 4-2. Also beat the Layton Christian Eagles in non-region play 3-2. There are 2 losses on the season, one coming to the Pleasant Grove Vikings 4-3 in penalties, and then lost to American Fork 3-0 in region play. And now for an 8-2 region record. And of course the region champs heading into this playoffs got the first round bye, beat number 16 Corner Canyon 2-1 in the second round, and got a quarterfinal win against Riverton, number 8, 2-0 to set themselves up here in a semifinal matchup against Bingham. Ball inside the box, cleared away by Lone Peak. And now Isaac Morris will give chase. Last season, Lone Peak eliminated in the quarterfinals by this Bingham side. A 5-4 penalty shootout. A year later, a rematch here in the semifinals. One-time state champs for the Lone Peak Knights, last winning it in 2005. For Bingham, last season made it to the 6A semifinals, and they were eliminated by the eventual champion in American Fork. That game also went to the shootout, 6-5 the final in the shootout. Riley Wicker came up with some big saves in that one, but ultimately fell short of beating the eventual champions. Last time this Bingham side was able to win a state championship was back in 2001 for their one and only boys soccer state champ. This is Quentin Bailey in possession for Lone Peak. Ball back to Bailey. Bailey up the sideline. trying to get past Gunnell. Takes a deflection off of Gabe Gunnell, the senior defender, and it goes out of bounds and out. A throw in coming up here for Lone Peak. Quinton Bailey plays it centrally to Shin. Shin plays it across to Elijah Yagi, in centrally to Stevenson. Now Lovelady. Lovelady, ball floated in towards the sideline. Quinton Bailey giving chase. Takes a deflection as that one will go out of bounds and out for the goal kick. Substitution prior to, as number 19 Blake Stewart, the junior, checking in. Off comes number 17 Seth Larkin.
Blake Stewart.
.21:07 left to go here in the first half. Still tied up at 0-0. Both sides still looking for their big opportunity here in their first half. Shin gets it to Lucas. Lucas out wide to Lovelady. Takes a touch. And headed away by Morris. La Rosa brings it in for Bingham. Loses possession. Lovelady wins it back. Deflected off of Gunnell and one back by Bingham. As La Rosa plays the century to Haycock. Quickly one back by Lucas. Here's Stevenson now with an opportunity. Stevenson settles it for Shin. Shin now to Zabriskie. Zabriskie gets it out wide to Stewart. Blake Stewart, who just checked in with an opportunity now to cross it in, does, and it goes out wide and out for the goal kick. Good opportunity there for Blake Stewart to cross into the box, but nicely defended by Bingham, as Riley Wicker here will now have a chance to clear this one away. Goal kick for Wicker. Ball booted up and away by the Bingham goalkeeper. Ball played in centrally to Shin, who brings it in for Lone Peak. Ball out wide to Stewart. Campbell. Campbell tried to play it centrally to Lucas. Intercepted and one back by Bingham. Here's Tyler Smith, who brings it in. Out wide to Knox. Knox plays it into La Rosa. That ball will filter through safely into the hands of Maxwell Candle for the Lone Peak Knights. Shin plays it to Kubias. Kubias to Stevenson. Stevenson with a through ball out wide to Lovelady. Lovelady cuts inside. Looking for options. Gets it to Shin. And centrally now to Zabriskie. Zabriskie will play it back to Quinton Bailey. Bailey carries with time and space for Lone Peak. Here's Kubias. Kubias out wide. Looking for Lovelady. La Rosa pokes it away. And that ball will go out of bounds. Takes a deflection off of Lovelady. A throw in here for the Bingham Miners, as they'll get possession back. It'll be Gabe Gunnell to throw it in for Bingham. Ball booted up by Shin. Stevenson tries to bring it down. Cleared away by Morris. La Rosa gets a touch. Lovelady. One back by Lone Peak. Momentarily is now La Rosa in possession. Out wide, trying to find Simmons. Quinton Bailey's there with the interception. Kubias gets it up to Stewart. Tried to get it up to Stewart. One back by Bingham. Here's Tyler Smith, who brings it in for the Miners. Ball back to Briggs Smith. Out wide to Sam Knox. Tries to flick it through. One back by Lone Peak. Sam Knox using a little bit of skill there to try to get past his mark. Brought down, the whistle and a foul called. A free kick coming up here for Bingham. Briggs Smith, the senior defender for Bingham, to take the free kick, and an opportunity to whip one into the box and create some chaos inside the box for Bingham. That ball whipped in, headed away. Max Candle comes up off his line and collects. Candle will play it short to Bailey. Bailey will boot it up to Cubillas. Cubillas centrally to Stevenson. Now out wide to J.J. Cubillas. Cuts inside, trying to get past Gabe Gunnell. Nice pass to Stevenson. Stevenson tries to flick it back to Cubillas, and one back by Bingham. La Rosa gets past Shin. La Rosa tries to get it out to Knox. Campbell is there with the header. That ball will roll out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up for the designated visitors over on that far sideline. Ryan Kim to throw it in for Bingham. Knox brings it in. Lands at Smith, who plays it to La Rosa. La Rosa cuts in centrally, looking for options. La Rosa taking it for distance. And that ball can be put on frame. It goes wide and out of bounds for the goal kick. Substitution coming up here for Lone Peak as Rafa Morales Soto gets ready to check back in. Off will be number 14, Caden Shin. Lone Peak here in possession as Stewart turns, carries with time and space, cuts back, gets it to Lucas. Lucas will go back to Bailey. Quinton Bailey bringing up possession for Lone Peak. This is Morales Soto, plays it to the near sideline for Lovelady. Now Bailey. Quinton Bailey pokes it through to Cubillas. Cubillas looking for options, gets it to Stevenson. Patrick Stevenson leaves it, settles it, supports himself with Bailey, back to Stevenson. Ball will go across to Zabriskie. Now Zabriskie plays it to Yagi. Ball comes into Morales Soto. Goes back, tries to go back to Campbell. Campbell doing his best to keep that ball from going out of bounds. And it'll go out for a Bingham throw. Ryan Kim to throw it in for Bingham over on that far sideline. Kim looking for options. Ball back in play. Margits brings it down. Ryan Kim in possession. Will go back to Smith. Smith boots this one up and away. One back and cleared away by Lone Peak. Out of bounds once more. A throw-in coming up over on that far sideline for Bingham. Ryan Kim to throw it in again for the Miners. That ball comes in. Campbell intercepts. Lands at Stewart. Pokes it back to Lucas. Lucas plays it all the way back to Bailey. Quinton Bailey with time and space in the center circle. Out wide to the near sideline to Lovelady. Lovelady tries to get it to Morales Soto. Cleared away by Isaac Morris. Brought down by Smith. Smith cuts inside. That's Haycock. Haycock plays it to La Rosa. Intercepted. One back by Lovelady. Rafa Morales Soto goes down. And we'll have a whistle and a foul called. A free kick coming up here for Lone Peak. As Rafa Morales Soto goes down, the free kick coming up here for the number 1 in the RPI. Bailey takes it quick to Morales Soto. Plays it into Cubillas. Back to Morales Soto. Rafa out wide to Lovelady. Lovelady try to get it back centrally to Rafa Morales Soto. Instead, one back by Bingham. This is a touch here from Preston Margits. Margits tries to play it through to Mason Simmons. Cuts inside the box. And Max Candle off his line will collect. Candle will boot this one up and away for Lone Peak. Trying to be brought in by Blake Stewart. Takes a heavy touch. It goes out of bounds and a throw-in coming up. Prior to substitutions here for the Bingham Miners. Coming off will be Eli La Rosa for Bingham. Also checking off will be Sam Knox. Into the game, number 18, Tyler Powell. For Bingham. And also checking into the game, Stockton Colmere.
Now in for Bingham, number 12, Sam Leggett.
Ball coming up here with Lone Peak. Isaac Morris shields it off, and it goes out of bounds and out. Gunnell to throw it in for Bingham as we reach the final 11:30 left to go here in the first half. Still tied up at 0-0 between the number 1 in the RPI, Lone Peak, and the number 13, Bingham. Lucas tried to play that ball through, instead takes a deflection, goes out to Campbell. Campbell plays it out wide to Stewart. Stewart up that far sideline will support himself with Campbell. Campbell will go back centrally to Zabriskie. Zabriskie in the center circle. Goes out wide to Lovelady. Lovelady gets past one, plays it even wider to Cubillas. Cubillas cuts inside. Cubillas puts it on his left, ball into Stevenson, back out to Cubillas, and cleared away by Ryan Kim. A phenomenal sequence of passing there by Lone Peak, and it ends in a clearance by Bingham. Great opportunity for the Knights, and now Bingham trying to go the other way, and the whistle and a foul called. A free kick coming up here for the Lone Peak Knights, and an opportunity to clear this one away. Still tied up at 0-0 between Bingham and Lone Peak. Lone Peak back in possession. This one's Lucas. Lucas will play a ball to the near sideline, trying to find either Cubillas or Lovelady, but a heavy pass. It goes out of bounds. Gunnell to throw it in for Bingham. Correction, it was Sam Leggett who checked in for the Miners. As that ball goes out of bounds. Free kick coming up here for Bingham. Isaac Morris to take for the Miners. Two hands in the air for Morris as he'll look to whip one into the box. Big ball booted in by Morris. Takes a bounce back post. Leggett was there, got a head on it, but couldn't redirect it on frame. It goes out of bounds and out. A goal kick now coming up for the Lone Peak Knights. Prior to substitutions, as a change will be made here for Bingham. Graydon Olson checking into the game for the Miners. Off comes Preston Margits. Stewart takes a touch, loses possession. Olsen gets his touch, tries to settle it back out for Stockton Colmere. Colmere trying to get on the end of it. Campbell with a defensive effort, and nicely shielded off by Campbell as that ball goes out of bounds. Ball played in here for the Knights as Lucas in possession, tries to get it back out to Campbell. Campbell clears it away, takes a deflection. Lucas with the header away. Haycock tries to play it back into the box, and it'll just safely roll out of bounds and out for the goal kick. Substitution coming up here for the Knights as Sid checking in. Off comes for a breather, J.J. Cubillas for Lone Peak.
Number 15, Sid Kine.
Here's Stevenson for Lone Peak. Cuts back, supports himself with Lovelady. Nicely done by Lovelady to get past Leggett. Now gets past Smith. Ball played into Rafa Morales Santos. Now back to Lovelady. Lovelady into the attack. Loses on possession here to Smith. Stevenson tries to win it back. Now here's Leggett. One back by Lone Peak as Lucas tries to play a ball in behind Riley Wicker off his line, and he'll boot this one away and into the Bingham student section. Nicely read there by the senior goalkeeper, Riley Wicker, off his line and booted away. Could have been a dangerous pass there. Instead, we'll have a Lone Peak throw over on the far sideline. Campbell trying to get past Kim. That ball goes out of bounds, takes a deflection off of number 11, Ryan Kim. It goes out for another Lone Peak throw. Campbell to throw it in. 6:35 left to go. Time winding down here in the first half. We'll see if there's any goals for either side here prior to the halftime break. This is Olsen who plays it to Smith. Smith cuts back, tries to get it out wide in the direction of Colmere, who's running off of it. Stockton Colmere can't get to the end of it as it goes out of bounds and out. Throw in for Lone Peak over on that far sideline near their own corner flag. Long throw in for Elijah Yagi. Stevenson brings it in. One back by Ryan Kim, who brings it down up the sideline. Kim loses out possession. Cleared away by Lone Peak. Stockton Colmere there to win it back. Ball played into the box. Quinton Bailey there to boot it away. Haycock will play it back to Morris. Morris across to Briggs Smith. Briggs Smith floated in over the top. Leggett inside the box trying to bring it down. And cleared away now by Lone Peak. Lovelady plays it to Sid. Sid centrally to Rafa Morales Soto. Now Lovelady. Morales Soto goes back to Bailey. Zabriskie. Candle. He'll leave it for Bailey. Bailey plays it across to Yagi. Yagi tries to play a ball over the top looking for Stevenson. Headed away by Morris. Morales Soto lets it bounce. Now brings it in. Lucas with the header. Yagi. Awkward clearance. Takes a bounce there near the middle of the park as Morales Soto tries to bring it in. But Rafa Morales Soto called for the foul. Free kick coming up here for the Bingham Miners. Opportunity here to whip a ball into the box and create some danger. Foul there committed by Morales Soto as Isaac Morris will put this one in for the Bingham Miners. Isaac Morris, everybody lined up near the top of the 18. Two hands in the air for Morris. Ball booted in with the left foot into the box and headed away by Yagi. As that ball goes out of bounds and out. A corner kick coming up now for Bingham. Set piece opportunity for the Miners here in the dying moments of the first half. Ryan Kim heading over to the far sideline to take the corner. Everybody lined up at the near post for Bingham. Trying to crowd goalkeeper Max Candle as well. Now players moving, gravitating towards the back post as Ryan Kim will whip a ball into the box. Goes near post, headed away by Yagi. Ryan Kim will track it down. Kim will play it out. Try to play it back to Haycock. Instead, that ball will roll out of bounds and out. And a lost opportunity here for Bingham. I'll say it took a deflection off of a Knight defender as the Miners will have a throw-in over on that far sideline. Ball brought in by Olsen. Olsen gets it out wide to Colmere. Colmere tries to play it in centrally. One back by Lucas. Lucas pokes it through. And a foul and a whistle a whistle and a foul called. As Lone Peak here will have the free kick. Plays it to Zabriskie. Zabriskie plays it across to Bailey. Time running down here in the first half. Lovelady tries to get past Legat. Takes a deflection. It goes out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up for Lone Peak here on the near sideline. So the AR initially called it a throw-in off of Bingham, and instead they'll say it came off of Lovelady, and so now a throw-in coming up for Gabe Gunnell. Legat up the sideline. Booted away by Lone Peak as Sid tries to bring it in. Does. Plays it centrally. Lands at Haycock. Haycock tries to volley it from distance. Campbell heads it away. Giving chase here is Lucas. Lucas can't keep that one from going out of bounds. A throw in for Bingham over on the far sideline. Haycock loses out possession. Lone Peak trying to hit on a quick counter. Here comes Blake Stewart, cuts back. Settles it for Lucas. Lucas has options. Plays it in centrally to Zabriskie. Can't connect. Bingham here in possession with Simmons. Simmons can't get around Bailey as Quentin Bailey comes across with a defensive challenge. Ball goes out of bounds. Lone Peak plays it in quick, and then Bailey can't keep that one from going out. A throw-in coming up for Bingham here on the near sideline. 1:09 left to go. Lovelady. Look at. Now ball out to Blake Stewart. Stewart for Lone Peak. Up the sideline, cuts inside. Ryan Kim goes to ground. And Riley Wicker off his line, who reads it and collects. Senior goalkeeper running off his line and makes the play for Bingham as this ball is booted away by Riley Wicker with 30 seconds left. Ball played in by Legat. One back momentarily by Lone Peak. Legat will take it from distance. And that one can't be put on frame. It goes out of bounds and out. A goal kick coming up here for the Knights. Ball played short to Yagi. Booted away by Elijah Yagi over the top.
10.
That ball will roll back safely into the hands of Riley Wicker as we have a countdown here at Zions Bank.
4.
Legat lets it bounce. Lovelady boots it away.
0.
And that'll do it here for the end of the first half.
That concludes the first 40 minutes.
40 minutes have been played. No goals to be talked about yet.
Bingham nil, Lone Peak nil.
The number 13 in the RPI, Bingham holding Lone Peak scoreless, and Lone Peak's defense holding the Bingham Miners scoreless as we head to the break, all tied up at 0-0 here at Zions Bank Stadium. We'll take a quick step aside, but don't go anywhere because we'll have second half action here on the Rewind Sports Network when we return on KSLSports.com. And I want to welcome you back into Zions Bank Stadium here on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. Alex Napoli is here with you as we get ready to start second half action. It's game one of the 6A semifinals between the number 1 in the RPI, the Lone Peak Knights, and the number 13 Bingham Miners. It is Bingham in their traveling white. They'll be going to the right of your screen here to start the second half, and it is the Lone Peak Knights in the black, and they'll be going to the left of your screen in the second half. Final preparations getting underway. Making sure we're all set to roll the whistle, and we're underway. Second half action here at Zions Bank. Oh, we'll start it over because the clock wasn't set. Still waiting for the clock to be reset here at Zions Bank prior to the start of this second half. Now the whistle, now we're underway. Second half action kicking off here at Zions Bank. Lone Peak get us started off here as the Knights in possession with Campbell. Defended by Knox. Plays it out wide to Stevenson. Stevenson centrally to Lucas. Lucas goes up the sideline, trying to get around Haycock. Haycock comes across, makes the defensive challenge, but the whistle and the foul called as Haycock gets whistled for the foul. Quickly taken by Lone Peak. Cubillas taking it up for the Knights. J.J. Cubillas into the attack. J.J. Cubillas to Stevenson into the box. Turns, looking out for support, and the offside flag raised over on the far sideline. It will not count as Patrick Stevenson whistled and called for the offsides. Seemed like first half action, both teams just trying to get a feel for each other. Both sides still looking for their first big opportunity of the game. Looked like it was on there for Lone Peak, but Stevenson found themselves in the offside position. Now the throw in over on that far sideline. Lone Peak here in possession as Lovelady plays it back to centrally towards Cubillas. Cubillas brings it in. And now J.J. Cubillas trying to find, I believe that's Seth Larkin. Instead, one back by Bingham, who goes up the sideline. Centrally to La Rosa. La Rosa plays it across to Haycock. Haycock loses out possession, stolen away by Lucas. Now here's Cubillas, who plays it to Stevenson. Opportunity for the Knights, into the box. Stevenson takes the shot, and Riley Wicker comes up with the save. First big opportunity of the second half. First big opportunity of the game goes to the Knights as Stevenson forces Wicker into making a huge save early here in the second half. That ball goes out of bounds and out over on that far sideline. Riley Wicker coming up huge for Bingham. Throw-in coming up for the Knights over on that far sideline. As we have a stoppage in play. Seems that Riley Wicker a little shooken up after the big save. Riley Wicker's down, stretching out. $37-20. Left to go here in the first half as Wicker's teammates now coming over to help him stretch out. A big extended stretch of a save from Riley Wicker to deny Patrick Stevenson, and now Wicker heading back to his box as we get ready to resume action. Throw-in coming up for the Knights over on that far sideline near their own corner flag as Lovelady gets ready to throw it in. Ball back in. Here's the Knights on the attack. Cleared away by Bingham. Yagi clears it away. Lucas with the touch, goes centrally. Now looking for options. Lucas, defended by Haycock. Haycock gets a touch. Lucas keeps possession. Some way, somehow, Lucas able to play it on that one and clears it away here. Yagi, as Ryan Kim brings it in for Bingham. Kim in the center circle. Heavy touch, one back by Lone Peak. Here's the Knights, ball played in. Cubillas running. Wicker off his line and just boots this one away. Sweeper keeper Riley Wicker comes up and clears it. Shin plays it back to Bailey. Bailey back into Shin. Heavy touch, one back by Bingham, only momentarily as Lone Peak back in possession. Comes over to the near sideline for Campbell. Campbell centrally to Lucas. Lucas looking for options. Plays it up the sideline to Stevenson. Patrick Stevenson giving chase. Stevenson brings it in for Lone Peak. Now into the box, onto his left. Stevenson trying to get around Briggs Smith, but Smith coming across defensively and forces Patrick Stevenson out of bounds. A goal kick coming up for Bingham. An opportunity here for Briggs Smith to boot this one away for the designated visiting side. Quinton Bailey with the header as Lone Peak win possession back. Blake Stewart lets it bounce. Margits trying to win it back here for Bingham. Out of bounds and out. A throw in coming up for Lone Peak over on the far sideline. Yagi will boot this one over the top. Smith comes across, takes a heavy touch. Lucas with the header, almost wins it back. But somehow Haycock here in possession with Bingham, plays the ball through. Will Harris giving chase. Bailey comes across and just boots this one away as it goes out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up for the Bingham Miners here in the attacking third.
Now in the goal box for Lone Peak, number 0, Samuel Parker.
Ball out wide to Knox. Knox gets past one. Knox gets past two. Knox into the box. Sam Knox crosses it in. Two Bingham players there inside at the near post, but neither one could get on the end of it. It goes out the other end. And now Lone Peak on the quick counterattack. Blake Stewart trying to get past Gunnell, cuts it back. Isaac Morris comes across, pressures him defensively. Stewart still in possession. And now Isaac Morris whistled for the foul. Free kick coming up here for the Lone Peak Knights, and it looked like at the halftime break Samuel Parker checks in. A change in goalkeeper for Lone Peak here at the halftime break. 33:58 left to go in this second half, and Lone Peak have a free kick in a dangerous spot. 2 on the wall for the Bingham Miners. Everybody for the Lone Peak Knights lined up at the back post. Opportunity for Cubillas to whip one into the box. See if Lone Peak can break the deadlock. Cubillas will whip it in. Goes back post. Bailey is there, headed away. Wicker off his line and collects. Nicely defended by the Bingham Miners as Wicker will boot this one up and away. Lovelady gets a touch. Smith tries to get it back out wide to Gunnell. A heavy pass. It'll go out of bounds. Throw in taken quickly by Lone Peak. Stewart settles it for Cubillas. Cubillas now cuts inside centrally. Onto his left. Cubillas gets it to Stevenson. Stevenson at the top of the 18, trying to take the shot. And defended well by Bingham. Cleared away. Ryan Kim was the one who denied Stevenson off the shot. And now Lovelady here for Lone Peak in possession. Trying to get past Harris. Up to Stewart. Stewart plays it back out wide to Lovelady. The cross comes in, goes into the box. Wicker off his line and collects. Riley Wicker having to come up big here in the early goings of this second half for Bingham. It's that big stretch save he made moments ago off the shot from Stevenson, and since then he's been coming up big, collecting and reading well for Bingham. Now the Miners on the attack on the other end with La Rosa. La Rosa tries to whip one in towards the top of the 18. Bailey boots it away. Lucas now brings up possession for Lone Peak. Up the sideline, Patrick Stevenson giving chase. Ryan Kim coming across defensively. Stevenson towards the corner flag. Stevenson gets past Kim. Stevenson poked away by Ryan Kim and booted out by Briggs Smith. Big defensive play there by Bingham. Now on the other end is Harris as he's into the box, takes the shot and safely into the hands of Sam Parker. Samuel Parker coming up for his first action since checking in. Harris was in behind the defense, but a lot of credit has to go to Yagi for forcing him into taking an uncomfortable shot. Now on the other end, Cubillas to Stevenson. Stevenson gets around Kim, plays it out wide to Campbell. Campbell crosses it in. Into the box, Wicker off his line, and Wicker coming up big. Oh, how about Riley Wicker? This second half, Lone Peak looking a lot more dangerous, but Riley Wicker, the hero so far for Bingham. Now here's ball on the other end. Harris trying to get on the end of it. Yagi tried to clear it out. Takes a deflection off the toes of Elijah Yagi and safely into the hands of Samuel Parker. Parker plays it out wide to Campbell. Campbell now back into Zabriskie. Zabriskie to Yagi at the top of his own 18. Yagi will boot this one away. Cubillas brings it down. Cubillas settles it for Lucas. Lucas back to J.J. Cubillas with time and space. Kubias plays it up to Stewart. Back to JJ Kubias. Tries to play a ball in over the top to Stevenson. Stevenson lets it bounce, brings it in. Gets around Kim, ball played into Campbell. Campbell takes the shot, and it goes just wide of the post. Huge opportunity once again for the Lone Peak Knights. This time it's Campbell with the shot. Trying to pick off that bottom far corner for Riley Wicker. And now Riley Wicker making the notion at the bench he can't carry on. Ooh. Substitution, and Riley Wicker unable to carry on here for Bingham. That could be a big change, a big move. See if Riley Wicker is able to return later on.
For Bingham, number 99.
Kai Bloomfield is the one who checks in for Wicker as Lone Peak back in possession. Yagi. Lucas flicks it through with the header, trying to get it wide to Stevenson. Instead, it goes out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up for Bingham here on the near sideline. 28:40 left to go here in the second half. Still tied up at 0-0. We'll see if this Lone Peak attack can test Bloomfield, who just checked in. Zabriskie plays it to Bailey. Bailey plays it across. It's Stewart who brings it down centrally, cuts back, looking for support. One back by Margits. Preston Margits, the senior, comes up nicely there with a defensive challenge. And Margits try to get past the Lone Peak midfield. One back by the Knights. A whistle and a foul called. Shin trying to take it quick. Zabriskie here in possession for the Lone Peak Knights. Plays it to Lucas. Lucas cuts in centrally. Gets it to Kubias. Kubias gets around Margits. And huge defensive challenge made by Sam Knox. Knox says it was clean. The official says no, we have a foul and a free kick. Free kick in a dangerous spot for the Lone Peak Knights as Sam Knox commits the foul on JJ Kubias. And an opportunity here for the Knights off the free kick. Still tied up at 0-0. And remember, Kai Bloomfield, the junior goalkeeper who just checked in for Bingham, yet to be tested. Riley Wicker had to come off. We'll see if Stevenson or Kubias, he'll leave it for Kubias, as we'll see if Kubias here decides to go for goal. Kubias, ball whipped in, back post. Bailey's there with the header, back in centrally. And the flag raised over on the far sideline. It won't count, as it looked like Quentin Bailey was caught in the offside position. Free kick coming up here, and Kai Bloomfield with an opportunity to boot this one away. Harris lets it bounce. It comes off of Harris, and it goes out of bounds and out. Lovelady throws it in. Centrally to Zabriskie. Lone Peak here in possession as it goes back to Bailey. Bailey will boot this one up. Takes a deflection off of Zabriskie. One back by the Bingham Miners. Ball played in over the top. Smith giving chase. And Samuel Parker off his line collects and reads it well. This is now Lucas. Lucas looking for options. Cuts back, looking for support. Now back centrally for Lucas. Plays it up to Kubias. Gets a touch. Gets around his mark. And Margits. And now Kubias gets it out wide to Stevenson. Stevenson trying to play one through back into Kubias. Kubias comes across, tries to get the ball away from Briggs Smith. Instead, well, initially it looked like it was out of bounds off of Bingham. But the center official says we'll give it a throw-in for Bingham off of the deflection. Substitution coming up here for the Bingham Miners. Will Harris heading to the bench for a breather. Back into the game is number 32, Simmons, for Bingham.
Returning for Bingham, number 32, Mason Simmons.
Bingham here in possession. That ball goes out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up for the Lone Peak. One back by Smith. Smith pokes it away. Ball booted away by Haycock now as Smith tries to settle it towards Margits. Margits doing a phenomenal job to bring that in for Bingham. Ball played to La Rosa. La Rosa and Bingham on the attack. La Rosa can't get past Lucas, and Yagi will clear it away. Stevenson here on the near sideline. Defended by Kim. Stevenson switches the play over towards Stewart. Stewart trying to bring it in. Does. Blake Stewart brings it down. Isaac Morris there defensively and wins it back for Bingham. Giving chase here is Simmons, defended by Bailey. Bailey will have to support himself with Parker. Parker plays it back to Yagi. Yagi to Lucas. Thomas Lucas plays it across to Quentin Bailey. Bailey looking for options. Now here's Blake Stewart. Bailey again. Riley Wicker, the starting goalkeeper for Bingham, still over on that far sideline. Warming up and making movements as if he wants to come back into the game. We'll see if he does. Bloomfield off his line will collect. The substitute goalkeeper here for the Bingham Miners off his line collects and reads it well. As Bloomfield here will have an opportunity to boot this one away. Zabriskie takes a touch. Lucas trying to track it down. Bingham wins it back. Here's Haycock. Haycock plays it out wide to Gunnell. Gunnell into the center circle for Haycock. Bingham in possession. Ball goes out wide to Knox. Knox back in centrally looking for Margits. Cleared away by Zabriskie. Stevenson trying to track it down. Headed away by Briggs Smith, and Ryan Kim will boot this one away. Headed away by Elijah Yagi. Brought down by Lucas. Lucas centrally to Shin. Trying to connect back with Lucas. Instead, Bingham ball as Haycock trying to track it down. Now here's Tyler Smith who intercepts. This is Isaac Morris. Morris plays it up to Margits. Margits heavy touch, able to bring it in. And now Simmons. Simmons trying to get this ball into the box. Takes a shot from distance and it goes wide of the post. And out of bounds and out here for the goal kick. Substitution being made here by Bingham as Riley Wicker, the senior goalkeeper, making his way back onto the field, replacing Kai Bloomfield. Coming off for Lone Peak is number 19, Blake Stewart. He'll head to the bench for a breather. Back into the game, number 17, Seth Larkin.
Riley Wicker.
Good to see Riley Wicker returning here for Bingham. Has to come up and make some big saves so far here in this second half. One of those saves forcing him off. Now returning to the game for the Miners. Here's Larkin getting his first touch since checking back in. Lucas to Campbell. Campbell playing it up the sideline. Wicker coming off his line. And he'll collect safely into the hands here of Riley Wicker. Ball booted away. Lucas wins it here for Lone Peak. Maxi Joggy. Now up to Stevenson, who pokes it through. Stevenson trying to get it to Campbell. Campbell couldn't reel it in. It goes out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up for the Knights, or excuse me, for the Miners. Ball goes out of bounds and out. Another throw-in coming up here for Bingham. Ryan Kim will throw it in. To Haycock. Heavy touch as Haycock tries to poke it through to Simmons. Now brought in by Smith. Smith goes out wide to La Rosa. La Rosa into the box. Cuts inside, and nicely defended by Luke Lovelady. Now Lovelady can hit here on a quick counterattack. Lovelady with time and space. Cuts inside. Luke Lovelady still in possession. Lovelady gets past the entire Bingham midfield, and Bingham with a huge defensive recovery. Looked like it was on there momentarily for Lone Peak, but Bingham comes up big defensively. Lone Peak still in possession here with Stevenson. Stevenson will go all the way back to Quentin Bailey. Bailey looks to float one in over the top towards Cubillas. Cubillas brings it down. Cubillas into the box, and across comes Briggs Smith with a huge defensive intervention. And cleared away by Bingham. JJ Cubillas inside the box. Looked like he had an opportunity, but huge defensive play by Briggs Smith. Lone Peak back in possession here with Lucas. Lucas looking for options, supports himself and gives it up to Stevenson. Stevenson, through ball to Cubillas, giving chase, can't connect, it'll go out of bounds and out. A throw-in now coming up here for Bingham. Ryan Kim gets it back into play with Briggs Smith. Smith plays one to Bailey. Bailey gets it into Lucas. Lucas looking for options, gets it to Larkin. Larkin tries to flick it through. Isaac Morris coming up nicely defensively for Bingham. Lovelady with a touch. Lovelady wins it back and trying to get past Gunnell. Lovelady pokes one into the box. Wicker off his line. Plays it centrally to Stevenson, who can't get the shot off. Cleared away. Ryan Kim coming up as the hero for Bingham. Miscommunication there in the back line for the Bingham Miners defense. Stevenson had an open net, couldn't get the shot off as Ryan Kim comes up huge defensively for the Bingham Miners. 17:56 left to go, still all knotted up at 0-0 between Lone Peak and Bingham. Big chance there for Lone Peak. Stevenson brings it in. Stevenson, ball played through to Cubillas, who takes the shot, but can't put it on frame. JJ Cubillas gets a little bit too much under the ball, and it goes over and out for the goal kick. Another big opportunity gone a-begging for Lone Peak. Substitution here for the Knights, as Patrick Stevenson will head to the bench for a breather. Tyler Whiting into the game. I want to take this time to remind you that following the conclusion of this game, don't go anywhere, because we have more 6A semifinal action coming up next. As Simmons into the box. Simmons with the shot. Parker forced into the save. Oh, and it won't count. The offside flag is raised here on the near sideline. Simmons caught himself in an offside position. Parker, however, ready for the test, comes up with the save, but it will be free kick Lone Peak as Bingham whistled and waved for the offside. Again, coming up next, the number 2 in the RPI, American Fork, getting ready to take on the number 3 Skyridge Falcons in Game 2 of the 6A semifinals. The winner of that one will face off the winner of this one coming up next here on KSLSports.com. Campbell into the attack here for Lone Peak. Ball played back to Cubillas. Cubillas into the box, and Cubillas loses his footing. Nicely defended by Bingham as that ball will go out of bounds and out. A goal kick coming up for the Miners. Mass substitutions coming up here for Bingham. La Rosa heading out to the bench for a breather. Checking in is Sam Leggett.
Into the match for Bingham.
Off 12, is Tyler Smith.
Sam Leggett. 13,
Stockton Colmier back into the game.
23, Logan Portrait.
And Logan Portrait into the game. Off will be Sam Knox as well for Bingham. 15-15 left to go here in the second half. If, of course, this 0-0 result holds, we will head to overtime, where the golden goal rule applies. Stockton-Colmere brings it in. Poke back to Ryan Kim. Kim plays it to Colmere. Colmere back to Kim. Bingham in possession with Kim. Ball floated in over the top. Trying to find Leggett. And instead, Lovelady will let that one roll out of bounds. A throw-in coming up for Bingham in their own defensive third. Or, excuse me, for Lone Peak in their own defensive third, as that ball's played in by Lovelady. Brought down by Shin. Cleared away by Bailey. Headed away by Briggs Smith. Lands at Larkin. Larkin takes a touch, brings it in for Lone Peak. Ball given away here as Margits wins it back. Nicely defended and pressured by Seth Larkin. But ultimately, Seth Larkin commits the foul. Free kick coming up here for the Bingham Miners. Opportunity to whip a ball in from a dangerous spot as Isaac Morris, with a cannon of a left foot, will head over to take. Everybody lined up at the top of the 18 for Bingham. Two hands in the air for Morris as he'll whip a ball in. Goes near post, and Samuel Parker off his line. He'll read it and collect it well. Parker will boot this one up and away. Colmere wins it back for Bingham. Margits can't collect. Seth Larkin winning it back for Lone Peak. Ball out wide to Lovelady. Lovelady cuts back. Now looking for support. Goes in centrally to Zabriskie. Now this is Yagi. Yagi plays it up to Kubias. Kubias gets past one. Kubias gets past two. Kubias cuts inside. Kubias cuts back out. Now into the box. And nicely defended by Bingham. The Bingham Miners, anytime J.J. Kubias has a dangerous opportunity to run into the box, there's immediately 2 to 3 defenders closing down Kubias. And that is what's made Bingham so good defensively here in this state semifinal game against a high potent attack like Lone Peak. Substitutions coming up for the Knights as Kubias heading to the bench for a breather. Off comes Whiting as well. Patrick Stevenson back into the game, and number 19, Blake Stewart, also checking back in here for the Knights. Isaac Morris, or excuse me, it was not Kubias. And they're... Ball will go over and out. It looks like there's an extra man on the field right now for Lone Peak. Shin was supposed to come off, and now a foul and a whistle. We'll see what the call is here. Initially, it looked like Shin was supposed to come off, and Lone Peak there for a second had an extra man on the field. Now conversations being had here on the near sideline by the AR and the center official. 11:51, that is the stoppage here. And now the center official. The center official now heading over here to the near sideline to talk to the Lone Peak coaching staff and issue a warning. Free kick coming up here for Bingham after we get the situation sorted out. A warning issued here to the near sideline for a Lone Peak after an illegal substitution 3 on the wall for the Knights. Samuel Parker setting up his wall at his far, or I guess, yes, at his far post. The whistle, the shot from distance, and it goes over the bar and out for the goal kick. Ball played out quickly by Lone Peak. Or at least they tried to play it out quick. Instead, we'll have a redo, as they'll say the ball was still moving when Sam Parker booted it away. JJ flicks it through to Stevenson. Stevenson back in centrally to Cubillas. And now here come the Knights on the attack. Cubillas trying to play a ball through. Again, huge defensive effort, huge defensive plays from Bingham as Ryan Kim now in possession. That ball will go out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up here for the Miners as Ryan Kim will throw it in. Ball flicked through by Simmons. Haycock goes to ground. And Haycock still down after the play. We'll have a stoppage here as the center official will head over to number 15, Mason Haycock, to take a look. 10:33 is all that's left here in the second half. We're still tied up at 0-0 between the number 13 and the number 1 in the RPI. Lone Peak and Bingham going head-to-head, deadlocked. As we reach the dying moments here of the second half, do we have a goal in this one to decide a winner? Do we have a goal to decide who will be heading to the 6A state championship game? Or do we have overtime looming large here at Zions Bank Stadium? Ball played in by Lone Peak. Stevenson lets it roll over him. Brought in now by Patrick Stevenson. Goes up the sideline. Cubillas using his speed to track it down. Morris comes across. And it goes out of bounds. A throw in here for Bingham. Isaac Morris using some physicality there to deny the speed of J.J. Cubillas. Ryan Kim to throw it in here on the near sideline. Ball back in play. Goes out of bounds once more. A throw-in coming up now for the Knights. It is Blake Stewart who gets around Colmier. Opportunity here for Lone Peak as now Blake Stewart goes to ground. The whistle, a foul will call, and a free kick coming up. Free kick for Lone Peak in a dangerous spot. As J.J. Cubillas will take the ball and he'll whip it in. Three on the wall for the Bingham Miners. Riley Wicker setting up his wall at his near post. Ball whipped in, back post for Lone Peak. And that one will just roll through the other end. It'll go out of bounds and out for a throw-in over on the far sideline. And the Knights here retain possession in the attacking third. Seth Larkin running over to that far sideline to throw it in. He'll leave it for Lovelady. Ball played in. Cubillas brings it in near the top of the 18. Larkin with the shot and can't put it on frame. It goes wide of the post. Out of bounds and out for the goal kick. Substitution coming up here for the Bingham Miners as Sam Leggett will check out into the game is number 3, Tyler Smith. Ball booted away. Gabe Gunnell trying to track it down. Larkin using his speed to beat Gunnell. Larkin now in possession.
Number 7, Sam Knox.
Correction, it's number 7, Sam Knox, who checked in for Bingham. Here's Bailey. Ball booted away by the Miners. Throw in for Lone Peak over on the far sideline. Gubias tries to bring it down. Knox plays it up for Bingham. Sizyagi wins it back for Lone Peak, plays it centrally to Patrick Stevenson. Stevenson goes out wide to Campbell. Campbell looks to float one in towards the back post. Morris is there, heads it away. Colmier clears it for Bingham. Lovelady. Stevenson, through ball looking for J.J. Gubias. Can't connect, and that will roll safely back to Riley Wicker. Big opportunity for Lone Peak as Stevenson, Gubias couldn't connect. Haycock trying to track it down. Lucas wins it back for Lone Peak. And a late whistle, but a foul called as Haycock. It's called for the high boot there on Lucas. Free kick taken quickly. Stevenson in possession. Plays it to Stewart. Stewart back to Stevenson. Stevenson now into the box. Across centrally to Gubias! Tried to pick off the top corner, but can't put it on frame. J.J. Gubias all by himself inside the box and can't finish. A huge opportunity missed by the Lone Peak Knights. La Rosa back in for Bingham. And here's Eli La Rosa who will win possession. La Rosa playing it up to Simmons. Simmons can't bring it in. Ball booted away by Campbell. Gubias trying to bring it down. And now cleared away by Briggs. Smith. Quentin Bailey brings it down. Plays it to Lucas. Lucas trying to play a ball in over the top, and that will roll safely back into the hands of Riley Wicker. Final 5 minutes to go here at Zions Bank Stadium. Game 1 of the 6A semifinals still tied up in a stalemate at 0-0. Lone Peak has had a number of good opportunities here in the second half to try to take the lead, but not able to find the back of the net. Throw in coming up for Bingham here in the attacking third. As the number 13 in the RPI, the underdogs, the Cinderella, doing a phenomenal job defensively. Now that ball whipped in back post. Sam Knox rises up but can't get on the end of it. Tracked down by Bingham over on that far sideline. Now Haycock trying to play a ball into the box. The cross comes in, but the flag is raised. It's offside. It won't stand. Yellow card caution has been issued to Eli La Rosa. And La Rosa will have to come off. Substitution coming up here for Bingham as looks like that's number 3, Tyler Smith, getting ready to check in. Ball back in play. Simmons out. Cole Lawrence in.
In for Bingham, number 8, Cole Lawrence.
Now here's Margit trying to get on the end of it. Lone Peak will clear this one away. Out ball booted back the other way. Zabriskie tries to bring it down. Zabriskie goes to ground. The whistle and a free kick coming up here for Lone Peak. Quentin Bailey will boot this one away. Bailey over the top. That one just goes safely to Riley Wicker. Wicker will boot this one away. Headed away by Lucas. Larkin brings it in. Back to Lovelady. Over the top. Bounces over Stewart. One back by Bingham. Margits looking to play it out wide towards Sam Knox. A heavy touch, heavy pass. And it'll go out of bounds and out A throw in now for the Lone Peak Knights over on the far sideline. Ball back in with the Knights. Quickly won back by Bingham. Here's Briggs Smith. Intercepted there by Stewart. Lovelady tries to go centrally. Huge defensive tackle as that ball goes out of bounds. Knight throw it over on the far sideline. Larkin to play it in. He'll leave it for Lovelady. Lovelady into Stevenson, who lets it bounce. Ball through to Stewart. Stewart now into the box. And the whistle. And a free kick. The designated home side here at Zions Bank not happy with the call. They thought advantage should have been played, but ultimately it's whistled back for the free kick. Free kick coming up now for Lone Peak. Both Stevenson and Kubias standing over it to take. Center official heading over to talk to his AR. And a yellow card caution has been issued to the Lone Peak bench. The yellow card comes out to Lone Peak. One of Ben Nilsson's assistants shown yellow. .2:15 left to go here in the second half. A free kick coming up for Lone Peak and a dangerous spot opportunity here to find a late winner. 3 on the wall for Bingham. Wicker sets everybody up at his near post. Kubias and Stevenson standing over it to take. Kubias with the left, Stevenson with the right. The whistle taken by Kubias, and it goes safely into the hands of Riley Wicker. A low-driven shot off the free kick by J.J. Kubias. And nicely covered by the senior goalkeeper in Wicker. Lone Peak back in possession here with Larkin. Goes out wide to Lovelady. Lovelady trying to play it up to Stewart. And Gabe Gunnell is there. It goes out of bounds. Lone Peak Knights throw taken quickly. Briggs Smith comes across and clears it away for Bingham. Bailey heads this one out. Throw in for the Miners over on the far sideline. Gabe Gunnell takes a touch. Gunnell. Ball floated in by the Bingham Miners. Samuel Parker off his line, who reads and collects. Gets it out quick to Campbell. Campbell carries with time and space. Briggs Smith. Can't keep it from going out of bounds. A throw in coming up for Lone Peak. Into the attacking third go the Knights. Stewart brings it in. Final 55 seconds here at Zions Bank. Throw in here for Campbell. Campbell brings it down, plays it to Kubias. Kubias to Stevenson, takes a touch over Margit. Stevenson still trying to bring it down, now into the box. Wicker off his line, reads and collects. Wicker will boot this one up and away. Giving chase, here is Lawrence. Headed away by Joggy. Now Campbell. Campbell plays it centrally to Lucas. Lucas floats one in over the top. Headed away by Briggs Smith. The whistle and a foul will call. The stoppage in play in the dying moments. 15 seconds left. Briggs Smith will see yellow. And Lone Peak will have one final shot at finding a winner with a free kick. La Rosa checking back in.
Eli La Rosa.
Free kick here for the Knights in the dying seconds of the second half. Gubias and Stevenson standing over it to take. 4 on the wall, 3 on the wall for the Bingham Miners. Stevenson with the right, Gubias with the left. Stevenson will take it from distance, and it goes over the bar and out for the goal kick.
10, 9,
the countdown here at Zions
7,
Bank.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that'll do it here for the end of regulation.
That completes the 80th minute with no score.
80 minutes of soccer have been played. No goals have been scored, all tied up at 0-0, so we'll head to overtime. We'll take a quick step aside here on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. Hey, don't go anywhere. We've got overtime action between Lone Peak and Bingham coming up next here on KSL Sports.
If that doesn't resolve it, then we go to penalty kick.
And I want to welcome you back into the Rewind Sports Network here on KSLSports.com. Alex Napolis at Zions Bank Stadium, bringing you 6A semifinal action between the Lone Peak Knights and the Bingham Miners. The two sides could not be separated after 80 minutes of play. And so the number 1 in the RPI and the number 13 in the RPI are heading to overtime here at Zions Bank. Quick refresher on the overtime rules. We'll get 10 minutes put onto the clock. We'll play a period of 10 minutes here of overtime. If anybody scores within those 10 minutes, the golden goal rule applies. If anybody scores, this game is over. And the team, of course, that scores will advance to the state championship game. If we're still deadlocked at 0-0 at the end of 10 minutes, we'll have another 10-minute period of overtime where, again, the golden goal rule will still apply. And if we're still tied after a second 10-minute period of overtime, then we'll head to the penalty shootout here at Zions Bank. Those are the overtime rules here for the 6A semifinals. Lone Peak and the Bingham Miners. Overtime getting ready to get underway. It is the Lone Peak Knights in the black. They'll be going to the right of your screen here in the overtime period, and then it is the Bingham Miners in the white. They'll be going to the left of your screen here in overtime. If you're just joining us, Lone Peak had an onslaught of opportunities in the second half, but Riley Wicker, the senior goalkeeper, came up with some tremendous saves, as well as the Bingham defense coming up huge throughout the course of that second half. The whistle, and we're underway here in overtime as Lone Peak and Bingham tied up at 0-0. Gunnell for the Miners. Lovelady cuts it out and cleared away. Brought down by Stewart. Gunnell plays it up the sideline. Will Harris tries to bring it in. It goes out of bounds. Lovelady will throw it in for the Knights. Ball in centrally to Zabriskie. La Rosa comes across, makes the challenge. And Lone Peak with the free kick, taken quick, but can't connect. Throw in for the Miners on the near sideline. Gunnell will throw it in. Gunnell headed away by Bailey. Gabe Gunnell again to throw it in. Gets it to Smith. Smith boots it up. Haycock goes out wide. Stockton Colmere trying to get past Campbell. Now plays it to Margits. Margits up the sideline. Crosses it in. Takes a deflection as it goes out of bounds, and now a corner kick coming up here for the Bingham Miners. Corner kick for the designated visitors here in the early goings of the overtime period, as Ryan Kim over on that far sideline will take. Everybody lined up near the top of the 18 for Bingham. Now runners into the box Goes near post, headed by Harris, takes a deflection in front of goal, and it goes out of bounds and out. A goal kick coming up here for Lone Peak. Samuel Parker keeps it short to Bailey. Out of bounds and out. Throw in here for Lone Peak here on the near sideline with Lovelady. Stevenson brings it down, plays it centrally, cut out by the Miners. Lone Peak back in possession as Yagi will boot this one away. Over the top to Stewart. Stewart tries to bring it down. Smith with the header as Smith wins it. Smith now plays it towards the sideline. Stockton Colmere running. Campbell has to clear this one away. And a corner kick coming up. Another corner kick here early for Bingham. Set piece opportunity coming up for the Bingham Miners. As Ryan Kim again heading over to that near side or far sideline to take the corner. Ryan Kim will whip it into the box, near post again. Takes a couple of deflections inside the box. Kept in bounds by Bingham. The cross comes in near post, headed away by Yagi. Tyler Smith with a big volley. That goes over the bar and out for the goal kick. Goal kick cleared away, and now Stevenson will bring it in. Patrick Stevenson looking for support. Gets it to Cubillas. And that ball will go out of bounds as Cubillas trying to get the ball out wide to Lovelady. Gabe Gunnell to throw it in for Bingham. La Rosa. Stockton Colmere giving chase. Campbell defensively clears it away for Lone Peak. Throw in for the Knights over on the far sideline off the deflection from Colmere. Ball played in. Stewart lets it bounce and cleared away by Haycock. Brought in by Smith. Smith looking to float one in over the top towards Harris. Cleared away. Headed now by Briggs Smith. Tyler Smith will track it down. Here's Harris. Harris supports himself with Colmere. Colmere goes centrally, looking for options. Stockton Colmere loses out possession. Campbell with a defensive effort for Lone Peak. Now the Knights trying to break the other way, but the whistle and the foul called as Isaac Morris commits the foul. Free kick taken quickly by the Knights. This is Bailey who plays it to Lovelady. Lovelady now up the right channel. Tries to play one in. Takes a deflection, cleared away. Throw in taken quickly by Lovelady. Here's Cubillas bringing it in for Lone Peak. Cubillas. Cubillas into the box. Cubillas goes down. No call, no whistle. And Lone Peak retained possession. Larkin brings it in. Cleared away momentarily by Bingham. One back quickly by Lone Peak. It's Lucas. Advantage played. Lucas will play it out wide to the near sideline for Lovelady. Lovelady plays it to Stevenson. Stevenson gets it to Cubillas. Cubillas on his left. Tries to play a ball through. Lands out Seth Larkin. Larkin trying to play it into the box and nicely defended by Isaac Morris. Throw in for the Knights over on the far sideline. Less than 4:20 left to go here in overtime. Still looking for the golden goal. As both sides tied up at 0-0. Seth Larkin looking to whip one into the box. It goes out of bounds and out for the goal kick. Substitutions coming up here for Bingham as Simmons back into the game.
And for the Miners, number 32, Mason Simmons.
Goal kick and an opportunity for Bingham to boot this one away, clear their lines. La Rosa brings it down, takes a heavy touch. Cubillas there trying to win it back. Instead lands at Gunnell. Gunnell tries to play it over the top to Simmons. And a heavy pass that'll roll out of bounds and out. Throw in for the designated home side here on the near sideline. Lovelady to throw it in for the Knights. Quickly one back by Bingham as Isaac Morris will play it back to Riley Wicker. Wicker happy to hold on to the ball and watch some time tick away. Margits. Ball back with Lone Peak. Seth Larkin goes out wide to Campbell, or excuse me, that's Lucas. Lucas switches the play. It's brought in by Stevenson to Cubillas. Now in behind the Lovelady, and a heavy pass from JJ Cubillas. Lovelady can't get on the end of it, and it goes out of bounds and out for the goal kick. Goal kick coming up here for Bingham. And another opportunity to boot this one away. Isaac Morris, or excuse me, that's Burke Smith who will clear this one out. Ball lands at Tyler Smith. Now over the top. Samuel Parker off his line. He'll collect. And boots it away for the Knights. Larkin lets it bounce. Campbell tries to keep that one from going out of bounds. Throw in for the Miners over on the far sideline. Ball played in quick. Haycock tries to bring it in. Lucas winning it back for the Knights. Lucas trying to go out wide. Cubillas giving chase. La Rosa's also there. La Rosa brings it in for Bingham. Pressured by Lovelady. Cleared away by Morris. Bailey wins it back. Ball over the top. Morris heads it away. Smith brings it down. Smith tries to play it up for Bingham. Takes a deflection. Giving chase is Colmere. Colmere in possession for Bingham. Pressured by Campbell. Deflection off of Campbell as it goes out of bounds and out. Throw in for Bingham over on the far sideline. Ryan Kim gets the ball in. Out of bounds once more. Another throw in. Ryan Kim to throw it in for Bingham. Looking for La Rosa. Cleared away for by Lovelady. Now here's a good ball in behind to Cubillas. Cubillas around Gunnell into the box. JJ Cubillas trying to get it back on his right, but Gabe Gunnell comes up huge. And then Stevenson called for the foul. How about the senior defender, Gabe Gunnell, forcing JJ Cubillas back out to his right and makes a huge defensive stop as Cubillas dangerously into the box. And now with 39 seconds left, Bingham have a chance here to boot this one away. Isaac Morris boots this one up for the Miners with 20 seconds left. That ball will roll out of bounds, and a throw-in coming up here for the Bingham Miners. La Rosa, cleared away by Bailey.
8,
A countdown
7,
here at Zions
6,
Bank.
5, 4.
Haycock
3,
will take it from distance.
1.
And that'll do it here for overtime.
That completes the first overtime.
We reached the end of the 10 minutes, and we're still tied up at 0-0. Take a quick break here on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com, and we'll have overtime period number 2 coming up next on the other side to decide the winner between the Lone Peak Knights and the Bingham Miners. Network here on KSLSports.com, as always brought to you by Tab Bank. Alex Napolis, Zions Bank is the place as we get ready to start second overtime here between the Lone Peak Knights and the Bingham Miners. Cannot be separated after 80, could not be separated after an additional 10, so we'll head to a second period of overtime to see if we can find a golden goal and decide who will be moving on to the 6A state championship game on Thursday at America First Field here between the number 1 in the RPI Lone Peak Knights and the number 13 in the Bingham Miners. Whistle and a foul called. This is a rematch of last year's quarterfinals. Similarly to last season, that game ended 0-0 after 2 overtimes. Ended up going to the penalty shootout where Bingham came out on top to move on to the semifinals. So far, a similar story as we head to second overtime, still tied up at 0-0 The penalty shootout looming large. Do we have a golden goal here in second overtime? Foul and a free kick coming up for Lone Peak as Stevenson went to ground. Free kick for the Knights. Lucas standing over it to take. Everybody lined up at the top of the 18 for Lone Peak. 3 on the wall for Bingham. Lucas will float one in, back post, headed away by Bingham and cleared away by the Miners. Lovelady will track it down. He'll boot it up to Cubillas. JJ Cubillas gets past one, can't get past a second, lands at Stewart. Now Stevenson into the box, goes to ground, cleared away by Isaac Morris. Now here's Lucas. Another big defensive challenge, this time Haycock as Bingham wins possession back. Here's Simmons. Simmons turns. Simmons goes centrally, looking for options. Zabriskie cuts it out. Back in with the Miners, over the top to La Rosa. Parker off his line and clears it away. Samuel Parker off his line, clears it, and Lone Peak now going down the other way. Briggs Smith comes across and wins it defensively for Bingham, cleared away. As that ball goes out of bounds and out. Ball in play here with Stewart. Tries to play it over the top. Now lands at Cubillas. Cubillas tries to play one into the box. And that will just roll safely into the hands of Riley Wicker, the goalkeeper for the Bingham Miners. Yagi gets there with the header. Yagi will head it again. That's Zabriskie who tries to bring it in. Lovelady now for Lone Peak. Lovelady gets it up to Stevenson. Now Lovelady giving chase. Isaac Morris comes across, tries to win it. Gabe Gunnell with a nice move. And Gunnell comes across with a big challenge. Nothing called there as we have a player down behind the play. Cubillas up the sideline trying to find an opportunity to cross it in. Instead poked away. And a goal kick coming up here for Bingham. We'll have a stoppage in play with 6:12 left to go as there is a Lone Peak Knight down after the play. Zabriskie now back up on his feet. Substitution getting ready as Zabriskie will stay on. Lucas will check out. And Rafa Morales Soto checks into the game. 6 minutes left to go here in the second period of overtime. Smith. Now Eli La Rosa tries to get past. Quentin Bailey wins it back for the Knights. Ball going the other way. This is Stewart, cuts back, looks for support. La Rosa, Bingham back in possession. Tries to get in centrally. Bailey comes across with a challenge. Quentin Bailey played it now to Cubillas. Cubillas goes centrally, trying to keep possession. Here's Cubillas, and he's forced out of possession by 3 Bingham Miners. Morris goes out wide, looking for La Rosa. Lovelady comes up, takes a deflection off of Lovelady. Now that ball will go here with Bailey as he boots it away. Throw in for Bingham over on the far sideline. This is Gabe Gunnell trying to win it back for Bingham. Goes out of bounds and out. Knights throwing over on the far sideline. Cubillas tries to play it through. This is now La Rosa. Centrally to Haycock. And that one will go out of bounds and out. A goal kick coming up for Lone Peak. Ball played into Campbell. Campbell brings it up with time and space. Gets it to Stevenson. Stevenson with the heavy touch. Loses out possession. Cleared away by Bingham. Simmons brings it in. Simmons looking for options. Simmons out wide. Plays it to Meyer. Meyer tries to cross it in and cleared away by the Lone Peak Knights. Brought down by Shin. Takes a heavy touch. Out of bounds and out once more. A throw-in coming up here for Bingham. Substitution prior to as the Bingham Miners look to make some changes. Off will be Eli La Rosa. And checking into the game is looks like that's number 18 in Tyler Powell. Ball goes out. Another throw-in coming up here. This is Smith. Smith goes out wide to Meyer, who tries to play back centrally. Shin wins it back. Ball up the sideline to Stevenson. Here come the Knights on to the attack. Stevenson cuts inside. Stevenson has options. Stevenson takes it from distance and puts it just wide of the post. Stevenson tried to pick out that far post of Riley Wickers. And it goes wide, out of bounds and out for the goal kick. And another big opportunity for Lone Peak. That goes just to begging. They had it, the golden goal was there, but Stevenson can't put it on frame. 2:35 left to go here in the overtime number 2. 2:30 away from a penalty shootout. Bailey over the top. Lovelady giving chase. Can't keep it from going out of bounds. And a throw in for the Miners over on the far sideline. This is Simmons. Simmons trying to get around Yagi. Yagi defending. Into the box, it's Simmons, cuts it to his left, takes a shot, and cannot put it on frame. It goes wide of the post and out for the goal kick. Substitutions again in the offing for the Bingham Miners, looking to make some changes. With time running out, Meyer will head back to the bench. Checking into the game is number 7, Sam Knox. .123 left to go. Yagi, a short goal kick, will go to the center back. Elijah Yagi will play it over the top, looking for J.J. Cubillas. Cubillas does a good job to keep that one from going out. Brought in by Bailey. Bailey switches it to Morales Soto. Morales Soto goes to Campbell. Campbell back into Rafa. Now here's Campbell. Rafa goes to ground. The whistle and a foul called. Will have a stoppage in play as the yellow card caution here issued to number 15, Mason Haycock, the junior, will have to head out to the bench after seeing yellow. And now with 52 seconds left, the Lone Peak Knights trying to find their opportunity at a golden goal.
Number 10, Graydon Olson.
Olson checks into the game for Bingham. One on the wall, everybody lined up at the top of the 18. Ball floated in. Goes back post, Wicker off his line, spills, but Riley Wicker comes up big again. Riley Wicker doing a phenomenal job reading that one well. Spilled it, but recovers well. Ball booted away by Wicker. Bagley heads it away. Lands at Stevenson, who gets it to Shin with 20 seconds left. This is Campbell. Campbell plays one in. Stewart beats the Bingham Miners to the ball. Low goes out to Zabriskie. And that ball cleared away. A throw in over on the far sideline. And that will do it.
2-1-0.
After another overtime period, the two teams could not be separated. And so the number 1 in the RPI and the number 13 are heading to the penalty shootout to decide who makes it through and who advances to the 6A state championship game. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a quick step away here on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. When we return, the penalty shootout here from Zions Bank Stadium. Alex Napolis with you here at Zions Bank. After 80 minutes of regulation, the two sides could not be separated. After two 10-minute periods of overtime, still no separation between the Lone Peak Knights and the Bingham Miners. And so how about this? The number 1 in the RPI, the Lone Peak Knights, heading to the penalty shootout against the number 13 in the Bingham Miners. Captains met in the center with the officials, the coin toss, and they've determined that they'll be shooting to the south goal here at Zions Bank. Moments away from getting the penalty shootout started. A spot at a 6A state championship game on the line between Bingham and Lone Peak. Riley Wicker, the goalkeeper for Bingham, makes his way over to the south net. And Max Candle subbed out for Sam Parker after the first half, but Max Candle returns. He'll be the shot stopper. He'll be the penalty stopper for Lone Peak here in the penalty shootout. Everybody lining up now at the center circle as we get ready to start the penalty shootout. Max Candle versus Riley Wicker. Who comes out on top? Lone Peak won the toss.
Number 1, Riley Wicker.
They'll shoot first. There's Wicker and Candle getting the final instructions from the center ref, and a nice little embrace there between the two keepers. JJ Cubillas will step up, and he'll be the first taker for the Lone Peak Knights. And it comes down to this, the penalty shootout here at Zions Bank. Riley Wicker against JJ Cubillas. Max Candle with his back turned. Cubillas from 12 yards out. The whistle. The run-up. The stutter. The shot. And it's a save by Wicker! Riley Wicker comes up big on the first shot, denies Cubillas. And Bingham advantage here in the shootout.
Fans, we remind you at the conclusion of the match, do not come onto the playing pitch. Please do not come onto the pitch.
Here comes the first shot for the Bingham Miners. It's Briggs Smith against Candle, takes the shot, and Sam Knox puts it away. Sam Knox, the first taker for Bingham, and Bingham lead 1-0 here in the shootout. Seth Larkin stepping up for the Knights.
Bingham goal, Sam Knox.
It's Larkin against Wicker. Wicker denied the first shot. Penalty number 2 for Lone Peak. Larkin, a left-footed shot coming up. Steps up and puts it in. ties us up at 1-1 here in the shootout. Seth Larkin breathing some life in for the Lone Peak Knights. Ryan Kim will be the next taker here for Bingham. Ryan Kim making his way to the penalty spot. Max Candle against Ryan Kim from 12 yards out. Kim, the right-footed shot, and puts it into the back of the net. Advantage Miners as Ryan Kim puts it in.
Ryan Kim for Bingham.
2-1, Bingham lead. Rafael Morales Soto, the senior, the next to step up for Lone Peak. Morales Soto against Wicker. Soto setting up the ball at the spot. Max Candle again with his back turn. He cannot watch the step backs. A short run up here for Morales Soto. The shot puts it in and ties it up at 2-2.
Knights goal, Rafael Morales Soto.
And he'll get the yellow card caution too after scoring the penalty. The official books Rafael Morales Soto after the shot, but Soto puts it in, and we're tied 2-2 here in the shootout. Now Brick Smith will step up for Bingham. Smith against Candle. Shot number 3 for the Miners. Smith steps up and puts it into the bottom corner. Candle guessed right, but Smith
for Bingham
tucks it in and gives the advantage back to the Miners. 3-2 here in the shootout. Shot number 4 coming up here for Lone Peak. It's the run up from Halvo, who puts it in. Jackson Halvo keeps the Lone Peak Knights alive.
Lone Peak goal, Jackson Halvo.
Jackson Halvo, who did not see time in regulation or in overtime, but steps up and keeps Lone Peak in this one here in the shootout. Step up, Eli La Rosa for the Bingham Miners. La Rosa against Max Candle. La Rosa, the shot, and puts it in for the Bingham Miners.
For Bingham, number 6, Eli La Rosa.
We head to the final round of the shootout. A save here from Riley Wicker. A miss from Thomas Lucas will put the Bingham Miners into the state championship game. Lucas against Wicker. 6 steps back from Thomas Lucas. The right-footed step up, the shot, puts it in and keeps Lone Peak alive. 4-4 in the shootout. And now all the pressure on Max Candle. All the pressure on Bingham. Tyler Powell will step up to the plate. The senior forward with a spot in the state championship game on the line. If Powell scores, this one is over. Powell against Candle. The shot, and it's a save by Candle! Denies Tyler Max Candle comes up huge and keeps Lone Peak alive.
Fans, we remind you at the conclusion, please do not come onto the playing field. Thank you.
Step up to the plate, Jonas Lamont. If Lamont scores here, Lone Peak are through. The number one is through. Lamont steps up and puts it into the back of the net. Oh, they'll go for one more. Bingham have a chance to respond. It's a correction on my part, too. Lone Peak had gone first in the shootout. And so we'll have a chance here in sudden death for Bingham to respond as Tyler Smith steps up to the plate. Tyler Smith against Max Candle for a state championship game. Tyler Smith puts it in and keeps Bingham alive. We continue here in the shootout at 5-5.
For Bingham, number 3, Tyler Smith with the goal.
Up comes Zach Campbell. Campbell puts it into the bottom corner. Advantage Knights. 6-5 here in the shootout.
One big goal, number 7, Zachary Campbell.
Here comes number 35, Preston Margetts, to keep Bingham alive here in sudden death. You know the scenario. With a save here, with a miss here, Lone Peak are through. And we continue if Margetts puts it in. Left-footed shot from Margetts coming, or right-footed shot coming up for Margetts. Steps up and tucks it into the bottom corner. 6-6 as the penalty shootout rolls on. Caden Shin now comes up for the Lone Peak Knights. Shin against Riley Wicker from 12 yards out. Shin. The run up. The shot puts it into the bottom corner. An advantage Lone Peak 7-6 here in the shootout. We head to the Bingham response. Number 13, Stockton Colmere stepping up to the penalty spot. It's Colmere against Candle. Stockton Colmere, Maxwell Candle. The run up from Colmere. The shot puts it in, and we roll on to the next round. 7-7 in the shootout.
For Bingham, number 13, Stockton Colmere.
Riley Wicker now goes back between the sticks. And Blake Stewart will step up here for Lone Peak. Short run up from Stewart and puts it in. Goal number 8 here in the penalty shootout. Advantage Knights.
And we remind you at the conclusion, please do not come on to the playing pitch. Please do not come on to the field.
Stepping up now for the to the penalty spot is Mason Haycock, the junior for the Bingham Miners. with a save from Max Candle with a miss from Mason Haycock. This one is over. Haycock steps up and puts it into the back of the net. We head to another round here in the shootout.
Number 15, Mason Haycock.
Here comes number 11, Patrick Stevenson for the Lone Peak Knights. Stevenson will step up to try to give the advantage back to Lone Peak. Stevenson against Wicker from 12 yards out. Stevenson steps up, short run up, and puts it over the bar. Advantage Bingham as Stevenson misses the shot. Step up, Gabe Gunnell. The senior defender for the Bingham Miners here has a chance to send Bingham to the 6A state championship game. Gabe Gunnell against Maxwell Candle. Six steps back from Gunnell. The right-footed shot off the crossbar! Lifeline given to Lone Peak from the top of the crossbar. Gabe Gunnell can't put it in. And we roll on here in the penalty shootout. 8-8. And we head to another round. We've gone through 11 shooters, and we still don't have a winner. Lone Peak here trying to decide who to send up to the plate, who to send to the spot. Riley Wicker in between the sticks, he's ready. Now that we've gone through 10 or 11, JJ Cubillas has a shot at redemption. He missed the first time around. And now Cubillas has a chance again. Max Candle with his back turned, he cannot watch. Cubillas steps up to the spot. From 12 yards out, missed the first. Cubillas stutter step and puts it in. Redemption for JJ Cubillas as Lone Peak take the advantage 9-8. Sam Knox, the first shooter for Bingham, will step up again. Sam Knox against Maxwell Candle. In one of the longer shootouts we've seen here on the Rewind Sports Network. With a save or a miss, Lone Peak is through. Knox steps up and puts it in past Max Candle.
Sam Knox for Bingham.
We continue in the shootout. Stepping up now to the penalty spot is Seth Larkin for Lone Peak. Larkin against Wicker. Larkin puts it in past Riley Wicker. Advantage Knights, 10-9 here in the shootout. Ryan Kim now coming up for Bingham. Max Candle against Kim. Ryan Kim steps up and puts it in. Candle got a touch. For a second there, it looked like Max Candle was going to be the hero.
Number 11.
Instead, Ryan Kim gets enough power behind it, puts it in, and we're all tied up at 10. We head to another round here in the shootout. Rafa Morales Soto to step up for Lone Peak. Morales Soto, right-footed shot, steps up and puts it in for Lone Peak. Advantage Knights with 11 to 10.
Rafael Morales Soto with the goal.
Here comes Briggs Smith. Short run up, puts it into the bottom corner, and we move on.
Number 9, Briggs Smith for Bingham.
11 to 11 here in the shootout. We're about to go through. I've lost track of which round we're at, Doug. Jackson Halvo will step up. Halvo against Wicker. Runs up, the shot, and off the post! Jackson Halvo sends it crashing off the post. Advantage Bingham here in the shootout.
Please do not come onto the field at the conclusion of the match. Thank you.
Jackson Halvo off the post. And Eli La Rosa has the chance to be the hero for the Bingham Miners. La Rosa against Candle. Max Candle against La Rosa from 12 yards out. La Rosa steps up. The shot puts it into the back of the net. And the Bingham Miners, Cinderella prevails. The number 13 in the RPI. 12 to 11, the final score here in the shootout. And Bingham are heading to the 6A state championship game. Down goes number 1. Through goes number 13. Bingham
Teams, let's begin.
Are heading to America First Field
Let's begin the
to fight for their second state championship, their first since 2001. In one of the longest penalty shootouts we've seen here on the Rewind Sports Network, it comes to an end. Eli La Rosa, the hero. 12 to 11, the final score. Heartbreak for the Lone Peak Knights, the number 1 in the RPI. A great and phenomenal season that comes to an end after heartbreak here in the shootout. 17-3 overall on the season. Last season eliminated in the quarterfinal by Bingham. This year eliminated in penalties in the semifinal by Bingham. The Miners are your first team qualified to the 6A state championship game. That's going to do it for us here on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. I'm Alex Napolis. Big shout out to Doug on the camera, and from the entire Rewind Sports family, we thank you for watching. Hey, do not go anywhere. Game number 2 of the 6A semifinals coming up next as the American Fork Cavemen get ready to take on the Sky Ridge Falcons. Hawkins.
At America First Field in Sandy.